Good day, everyone. Welcome to episode lucky number 13 of Lockdown Theater Entertainment for the Homebound. So today's movie is exactly what I needed to watch last night. Just a fun, zippy classic of the action comedy, sort of mixed genre, a huge, massive hit back in 1984, and just a fun, good time. Without talking it up anymore, I'm talking about Beverly Hills Cop. Now you'll notice that this particular DVD has all three Beverly Hills Cop films, number 1, number 2, number 3. I've seen all of them, but for the purposes of this video, I'm just focusing on number 1, the original, released in 1984. And this movie is just a lot of fun. It was produced by the late Don Simpson and Jerry Bruckheimer, a huge producing partnership throughout the 80s. This was made in the time between Flashdance and Top Gun. So it continued their string of hits all throughout the 80s. And this movie very much is part of their oeuvre, if you will, with the sort of style and the music and the flash of the whole production is very much in Beverly Hills Cop, and so it fits right in with their body of work. But let's just talk about the score for a second, because that's a huge part of Beverly Hills Cop's success. The score was done by Harold Faltermeyer, who worked again with Simpson and Bruckheimer on Top Gun and made just as legendary a score. I'm sure you've heard Axel Foley's theme, the which was ubiquitous when this film came out. It's a great score that's got some great music in there from Glenn Frey. Of course, The Heat Is On, and the Pointer Sisters are in there, and Patti LaBelle is in there. It's just a great pop score, which is very indicative of the Simpson Bruckheimer type of productions. So Beverly Hills Cop is really a fish out of water story, and it really, interestingly, sort of maybe subconsciously juxtaposes Axel Foley, who's played by Eddie Murphy, is a cop from Detroit who takes a vacation to Beverly Hills, which is really a ruse to investigate the murder of his friend back in Detroit. And it really has fun playing with the whole Detroit inner city cop with the juxtaposed with the kind of the stuffy, very rich and class conscious, nice and shiny Beverly Hills PD. And it's a lot of fun in that regard, and I think the movie kind of does that, not overtly, but subconsciously, and it's kind of fun to see those moments. So, like I said, this movie does star Eddie Murphy, who was at the peak of his genius. Well, I shouldn't say that, because once a genius, always a genius, but sort of the peak of his comedic fame, I guess, at that point. He had done 48 Hours and Trading Places and Best Defense, but this was the first film that he was the headlining star, and he is just such a pleasure to watch. He's so relaxed and charismatic, and conveys this sort of warmth, like the kind of guy who probably would have, won Most Dependable back in high school. Just a good guy that you can tell is there for his buddies, and is the kind of person who plays pranks on people to show them his affection, like he does with Taggart and Rosewood, when he puts, the two cops that are assigned to him, that they grow to work together and to eventually develop a mutual respect for. He puts bananas in the tailpipe and orders, room service from his hotel room to be delivered to their stakeout car, that kind of thing. And it's fun, the pranks, because you can tell that they're done with a sort of congeniality and not out of any sort of malice. But so but this is very much Eddie Murphy's show. And everybody else is sort of circling within his orbit. He's got such an outsized presence in this. And really, from what I understand, a lot of his riffs were improvised, which makes sense because Eddie Murphy is a genius comedian. From from doing research on this, I guess this was Beverly Hills Cop was originally intended to be a vehicle for Sylvester Stallone. And when you think about that, it would have been a very different movie. By this point, Sylvester Stallone was a major star, so it would have been very much a Stallone vehicle catered to him. Eddie Murphy, while definitely a star, he didn't really have a persona so much yet at this point. So there was a little bit more freedom in sort of him bringing life to the story as opposed to the story feeding the life of Stallone, if that makes any sense. And everybody else from Ronnie Cox and John Ashton and Judge Reinhold and Lisa Eilbacher, they're all kind of, Bronson Pinchot, of course, is Serge. They're all very much supporting the Murphy show in this, and it's a blast. It's just a lot of fun because you can tell that everyone's having fun and they're laughing at they're laughing. You can tell sometimes when people put their heads like that they're trying to keep it together during a take. So it's a lot of fun when you can tell that the cast is having fun. But yeah, so that's really all I got on Beverly Hills Cop. I mean, it is a classic. You've probably seen it. It's just a zippy, enjoyable, entertaining film, and I highly recommend you watch it. There is some nudity and there's tons of profanity, but it's just, it's a blast. It's probably, I don't, if you have mature teenagers, they'll probably love it. So, Beverly Hills Cop from director Martin Brest. I believe it was Martin Brest. Martin Brest, who went on to do Scent of a Woman and Midnight Run. And just a great time. So that's all I got for this episode of Lockdown Theater. Stay tuned for the next one. I'm not sure what I'll be doing, but we'll see. So if you like this video, if you like any of these videos, please thumbs up, shout out, comment, all those sort of recognitions that we do now on social media would be extraordinarily helpful and appreciated. And until next time, be good to each other and be safe.